Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to look at Bridget and Emmanuel Macron's chart in light of all the gossip, the conspiracy theories that have been going on lately. And I'm always on for great conspiracy theories. So I thought this morning I'd have a look. And I've probably not got what you'd expect, to be honest. The first chart I'm going to put up and look at extremely briefly is Emmanuel Macron's chart. So the chart that you've got in front of you at the moment with the Capricorn ascendant here is Emmanuel Macron's. First thing that I noticed as I'm looking at the chart, he has got a stellium here and he's got Neptune, mutable Neptune, very close. And the stellium is in Sagittarius. So a lot of mutability here. Sagittarius is the let's try anything type sign. Sorry about today. This has really cheered me up. I don't even know why. And he's opposite Jupiter, which rules Sagittarius. So what you've got is somebody who is very sort of playful, very mutable, very direct with regards to what they say, not very good at keeping secrets, very experimental. So I'm looking at this thinking, I quite like this. And then you've got down here, as part of a T-square, his moon here in Taurus. So you've got all that playfulness and that slight wildness going on here. And then you've got the moon in Taurus, which is very self-indulgent. Opposite that, you've got Uranus here. This is from studying my own friends. I found that my women friends with the Sun opposite or square Uranus tend to be gay. And that is basic. I'm trying to think is that the correct word, but that's what I would say. The men friends I have with oppositions or squares to Uranus tend to be gay. So I'm looking at this thinking, okay, this is somebody with a strong sexual appetite, and I don't think he's straight, is what I would say here. But I don't know. I just don't think he's straight. This moon opposite Uranus, the self-indulgence and the taking a different road to what I expect is the normal conventional road that maybe his parents or grandparents took. You've got this having a T-square here to Mars in Leo. When I first saw this, I thought, okay, Mars in Leo is going to be very sort of athletic. I don't know if he was athletic or not, but in Leo there's going to be that drama and that play and that performance. So I know that he was interested in drama. I thought, okay, that makes sense. The 7th house also is the house of long-term relationships. So to have Mars in there could suggest a Aries type partner. And then you've also got Leo there, so there could be some Leo in there too, and maybe Cancer because that's on the cusp. But the Mars, to be totally honest, I know is significant in this. So those are my first, okay, that is interesting, because to me this is somebody who is the type of friend that you used to go out with when you were young and was just all over the place. You know, partying, drinking a lot, laughing a lot, lots of different boyfriends or girlfriends, and, you know, not particularly having a certain type or a certain sex that they liked. They don't, you know, it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, either way. So experimental, definitely. This bit up here I thought was interesting in the 8th house. To have your North Node, which is like your way forward or that pull that you feel to move forward, conjunct Pluto, which can be like control or darkness or power, in the 8th house of other people's money. It wouldn't surprise me whether he's got himself into a hot spot with money from somebody else, lent from somebody else, or given, or support being a politician from somebody else, and that will be part of who he is. So that's what I've got, and for some reason this cheered me up. I don't know why. I think it made him feel more human to me, because we look at these like politicians and conspiracy theories, and we're all played off against each other now, that it's, you know, we forget that they're human too because there's fear involved. But let's have a look at his wife's. So this is her chart. Again, am I right here? Yeah, Capricorn rising. Now, the fact they both got Capricorn rising, I was looking up like quick dates when Pluto transited around their ascendants. And the bits that I could Google were basically saying there were questions about his sexuality and whether he was having affairs when Pluto was on the ascendant. And that she not came into power, but supported him with regards to being responsible for, and the government, I don't know how to put this in correct words, but like people with disabilities and women's rights and that type of thing, which is very chironic. Very chironic. So, and chironic people with chiron close to the ascendant, very sensitive, very good at picking up other people's thoughts and opinions, and often very, I'm going to say humane, but I think the word is interested in culture, that type of feeling. Okay, so that's what I've got there. Now remember we said that his 7th house of long-term relationships had Mars in it, which rules Aries. She has got a stellium of planets, her Sun and her Moon and her Venus in Aries. And I'm trying to be delicate with regards to the words that I choose, but a lot of people on the internet don't seem to be delicate at all. And I don't want to insult Aries people at all, but I often find that Sagittarius, this will sound rude, I don't mean it to be at all, because there's lots of it in our family, and I've got a Mars T-square as well, so I could come into this category and probably do. But Aries and Sagittarius women can often come across as a little bit more masculine in the way that they move, in the way that they... and masculine, it can be like tomboyish, it doesn't really matter. It could be just athletic, but there is that quality there, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And I would probably say, if it seems less insulting, that I would guess when they were being made in their mum's tummies, they had a little bit more testosterone. So that's where you get the sporty, and you get the figures tend to be more athletic. But that's what you've got there. So that suits him fine with the 7th house Mars, and you've got a lady coming into his life who is Aries. You know, just ticks that box straight away. If you notice here, she's got a opposition to these larger slow moving planets up here. And also, this is very quick, a focal point of the T-square is Uranus again. Uranus is taking a different tack in life. It's almost like going against the status quo, being original, or having a certain twist to what people expect, to a conventional approach. So she won't take a normal route. Yeah. And you've also got here Mars conjunct Jupiter again. And let me get this pen back a colour again. So you've got, is this forceful? And this is sudden. When I was looking at this combination of Aries and Uranus together, it made me think of Liz Taylor. And again, this will sound rude. These are just things I think about, which may not be a good to come out my mouth. But Liz Taylor was also always referred of in astrology as being quite gaudy. You know, the large diamonds, and just a little bit sort of in the best sense of the word gross, as in the bigger the better, that type of thing. So there is a feeling of lack of subtlety in here apart from this. Although Capricorn can be quite subtle. So what you've got here are two people who are quite brusque, I guess, with regards to how they get their needs met in life, even though that he has got a Venus moon. You've got a element of being straightforward and not playing the game as everybody would like them for it to be played. I'm not here looking to see whether she is, as Candice Owens would say, man or woman. It doesn't really matter to me at all, to be honest. But I am looking to see whether there is a connection between them. So if I go over here, you've got their charts put together. I'm not going to go into detail like a long synastry report. What you've got here on the inside is his chart. And what you've got on the outside is her chart. The bits that stuck out to me to make me think that they're, the bits that I've already said as well, the fact they do actually swap the fire in their chart, so they're going to be compatible with the same energy, same sort of fiery, forthright energy. They've also got earthy energy in there, especially with the ascendants, which is going to be crossed over as well. So there definitely is something between them that will feel natural when they're talking to each other. But the bits that I would say, I think that their relationship is genuine, which has been professed on other channels on YouTube, saying that it's all contrived and it, I don't want to go into it, but you have got in his 7th house, her South Node is conjunct his Mars. That would indicate a past life connection, or a conscious connection that feels like they have spent time together, and maybe in some sort of assertive quality. This is the masculine sign, it's coming from him, and she's a North Node. It feels like we've known each other before. You've also got, where is the other one? This is lovely down here. You've got his South Node conjunct her moon. And that can often feel like, and it probably is, a past life or a memory of a woman who was a mother to him, or a very close female, or somebody where the emotions were very strong between each other. But this, again, it's got an Aries quality. There may be some sort of story you could, if you're putting it into a story, sort of push together, that was some sort of fight together or supporting each other in some way, which again is probably replicated in this lifetime. But I do think with regards to the Uranus in her chart and all that Aries, that she has got a strong temper, and that slap or that push in the face on the plane, that doesn't surprise me with regards to the chart. The other bit that I like between the pair of them, when you're looking at very sensitive points in the chart, like a vertex, the vertex is a bit like a second sort of ascendant-descendant axis, the vertex and anti-vertex. And it's normally referred to as like a whirring vortex, but like a door that people get pulled into your life. And you've got that conjunctive Saturn. Saturn gets a bad rap most of the time in synastry, but I think astrologers, we all love a bit of Saturn because it shows longevity with regards to relationships. So there hints at their relationship being together for quite a long time. So to conclude, I think his chart is very playful, very creative. I've written the word down saucy. I think he's a saucy man. I really do. And the bit where it was sort of indicated around about 2018 that she was questioning whether he was having affairs with men, I would probably guess he was. So that is what I've got. I do think their connection is genuine. I do think they get on very well most of the time. And that is basically what I've been looking at this morning. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I do think at the moment, all the information that we get out and get pushed out to us, there's always that sort of, and I absolutely detest this, and it's not very often I'm quite strong in my opinions, I detest the way that we're played against each other. Absolutely detest it in so many different ways by media. It's repulsive. It really is. And so this is what I actually enjoy doing, to be honest, because it does look like there is a connection there. So I'm going to love you and leave you with that. Thank you for watching. Bye.